Hi, this is Michelle from Homeschool Haven. If you are a mom with chronic illness trying to homeschool, I'm going to speak to you for the next 5 minutes on two big tips that you can do to hopefully save your sanity. I personally have dealt with chronic illness for 28 years about. I was diagnosed with type 1 diabetes. I also have celiac and a few other autoimmune type things going on. And so some days are better than others, and some moments of the day are better than others, and it's really hard to plan when those are going to be. So sometimes you can probably relate. You might have a great plan for the day, and then you might have some sort of flare or issue that can totally disrupt your day. So I want to speak to you about two things that I've learned through the past few years, particularly the last year, as I was going through a battery of tests that took lots of time, hours at the doctor, the lab, and just big spaces of time that I needed to be in bed recovering or dealing with symptoms, and that really disrupted our school year. My first tip is to manage your personal workload. So when you're looking at homeschooling with chronic illness, you cannot possibly do all of the things. So one kind of initial exercise to help you manage your workload is to make a list of all of the things that you would love your child to be able to say at the end of the year about their school year. So kind of the sentence starter would be, at the end of this school year, I would love my child to be able to say they ... and just let yourself free write as many things as you can think of that you would love for them to be able to say they did, or they learned, or they experienced, or they accomplished. Give yourself free rein, and then maybe come back to it and try to narrow down or circle 5 or 6 of those top things that you would really, really love for them to do. Or to be able to have said they did. And then as you look at those 5 or 6 things, pick no more than 2 of those that you will personally make sure are implemented. You're following up with them, maybe sitting in with them sometimes to help them, making sure that those things are actually happening the way you want them to. So no more than 2 of those 6. And sometimes those overlap between kids, okay? So not just like 2 for each, but maybe try and overlap and say, okay, these 2 kids, I want them both to be doing X, and I'm going to help them with those things. And then for maybe 1 to 3 of those other things, look at how you can either hire help, delegate, or swap. So maybe there's an online class or a family member or a friend that you can pay or swap to have them take on those 2, 3 items from your list of 6. And then finally, maybe think about 1 to 2 on that list that you can shelf. Meaning you might not be able to get to that right now. You might say, maybe in a few months we'll address that. But for right now, we're going to put that on the shelf and not worry about it. So at least 1 of those 6. Think about which one you could shelf for right now. So that's helping you manage your workload. That's the number 1 tip. And number 2 is to manage your expectations. So this comes from experience, where I love making lists, I love accomplishing and saying what all the things that I want to do. Even on a regular day for an average person with homeschooling, you can kind of anticipate that you'll get about half of what you want to done just because life happens. So if you have chronic illness, you might even say you get like a third done, right? Because something might come up and you really just have to recover or do something to address your own health. So managing your expectations might look like picking your top 3 for the day, making a quick little top 3 list, making sure I get these 3 things done and everything else is icing on the cake. It might be not even making a list, at the beginning of the day. It might be at the end of the day or throughout the day, having a little notebook or post-it that you jot down the things that you did do, like getting out of bed, taking a shower, swallowing the medication you had to take, having a healthy meal, making a click list order that you can pick up the next day, getting dressed. Any of those things, those little things, can go on your list to celebrate and to note and to feel like you did do things that were hard. And sometimes it's hard having chronic illness because a lot of it is invisible, that you it's important, I think, to note those things that might seem like no-brainers, but were very big accomplishments for you. And you know that in your heart, you know how big those things were. And so it's important for you to note them and to praise yourself for them and to really celebrate that. So, so celebrating those little things is part of keeping your expectations low. I remember telling someone last year that I don't start the day with any expectations at all, except we survived. And then if a load of laundry got done, if we made it through the math lesson, if dishes got cleaned, that was icing on the cake of surviving the day. And that might seem, I don't know, dramatic or I don't know, that might sound kind of strange, but for me in that stretch of time when I was feeling very exhausted and very spread thin, it was important for me to wake up with the expectation that I was just going to be doing my best in any given moment, but not have a specific list for myself to have done by the end of the day. And to celebrate whatever did happen along the way. Like, hey, we have clean underwear today. Hallelujah, we made it, you know. So I hope that helps. Please join our Facebook group if you would like to have more tools and tips throughout the year. If you want to talk more about this topic, please join or message me. The link to our group is below this video, so please come join, and thanks.